market-ready solutions, Chameleon multi-platform. So I want to introduce you to a new character in the form of Chameleon. And actually, I think as well as the fabulous Paralympics and things that we've seen, that the heritage of which is from here, I think we can probably lay claim to the fact that Stoke Mandeville is actually the effective birthplace of the Chameleon as well, because it was the couple of projects that we were working here that have seen it come to fruition. In essence, the one-liner about this is this enables a website to look good on any device. That could be an e-book reader, obviously PCs, extends to Google TV products, and of course mobiles and a range of tablets. And that is effectively what the Chameleon does. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with responsive web design, which is fundamentally the current practice of making websites look different depending on the screen size. That's all well and good, except for the fact that so far that's been largely based off the fact that the screen is within arm's reach. The fact of the matter is, a TV that's about 10 feet away is actually going to benefit probably a little bit more from having a mobile experience because of the distance than it will having a PC experience if it's going to be readable and navigable. So where did we come at this from? We've had some support from the ICE-T project funding, and the first project we did was looking at putting TV-based internet information into Whiteley Village and another range with Independent Age, which is the illustration we have here, basically to provide support information to people who were not going to accept computer technology, either through choice or through capability. So we started out by taking some information sets and putting them out onto multiple devices. The TV was probably the most interesting one because it was a technology that people already had. And actually, since we did that project, the advent of things like Google TV as an established operating system, but this time coming from a recognised consumer manufacturer, gives us another opportunity for putting information services onto TV as a less threatening mechanism than a laptop or some other kind of device. But interestingly, the touchscreen devices were also greeted with a fair amount of interest. In the Olympic Lodge Hotel here, our set-top box system currently provides the welcome screen channel for the hotel rooms, and in effect this is using a combination of TV and internet. So the picture in the background is the broadcast TV, and overlaid over that is a simple message and menu set. And concepts like this could be extended in for people to either be receiving information, notifications, or indeed sending information back using the internet, but in a fairly simple way using a remote control for a TV. So for example, you could have a sort of three-stage smiley face, downturn, neutral, smiley face of how you're feeling today, and as we were hearing earlier, compared to yesterday or last week. Simple things like that to allow a little bit more interfacing information. And as you can see from the picture here, the same sort of product, the same software product in the form of the companion channel available on tablet devices. The other project that we're working on at the moment is with the National Spinal Injury Centre, and to illustrate another way of reaching the TV, the Chameleon system we have is also compatible with the Nintendo Wii. It has its part to play. It's a relatively low-cost, relatively ubiquitous device that talks to the TV, but it's not necessarily the easiest remote control experience that you've ever had.
True.
But it's another example, because we are talking about being device agnostic. And from that picture, the same thing on the mobile and on the tablet. One thing I'd just like to say on the subject of the Chameleon software and the way that it works, technically it's doing the job of identifying the device and then saying which experience should you have. The other thing we've learned through doing these projects are elements of best practice about the way to display things and about the kind of options that anybody who has information that they might want to use the internet to deliver or to interact with should take into account. And that will include such as on the centre image here, the menu is not shown in full as it is with the tablet, because it makes better use of the space. So you can open up the menu if you want it and then navigate to another point, rather than finding you're always having to scroll past these things in order to get to any meaningful content. So in essence, where we are and the product that we've got as a result of working on these projects is one about making sites user-friendly. And it doesn't have to be done as one site, one URL, any device, because it depends on the information flow that you might want to manage. But fundamentally it can start like that. So if you're talking about updating content, it's not a question of thinking, oh, I've forgotten to update that content in the mobile site, I've only done it for the PC site. They're all the same site. They're just told to display differently, and like the Chameleon, they adapt to the environment in which they're being displayed. Another application that we've been working on is, this is an example of a Telecare form, and it is fundamentally about taking the paper gathering exercise out of the mix and allowing you to go straight into doing online form filling. This one is aimed for assessment work at home for people. And again, looking at it being multi-platform, one of the things for anybody who's considering projects and looking at advancing things of using the internet as a way of being more effective about communication and resource is that by using the browser as the application, it's a much more cost-effective, much more tailorable way of dealing with things. If you want to have an app, and there are plenty of reasons for having an app, then by all means, but if you're still experimenting with what that app should be made up of and how you build it, how you construct it, how people accept it, it's a lot easier to effectively do a testing model and a wireframe by using the browsers first, and then you can understand what you need to advance. And it's typically 10 to 20% of the cost of building an app to do this for multiple platforms in the first place. Why is multi-platform important? Because your audience is already there. The illustration here shows what our site looks like if you don't optimize it for mobile, and then it shows what it's like if you do. And the fundamental is that with any other form of communication, audio, visual, print and all the rest of it, we don't aim to miss the target at the point of impact. So why do it with mobiles? It seems almost anathema really at this time when mobile browsing is currently running at about 1.4 billion site visits per month, to say that audience doesn't matter because the PC audience is only 1.5 billion in comparison, and it's forecast that mobile browsing is going to overtake. The point is, in this instance, in the kind of environment we've been talking about things today, when you're looking at getting information to people, which might include the extended family and carers and so on, you might as well make it accessible, easily readable, easily navigable on whatever device they're going to use, and you don't necessarily know what that is, so just open it up.